Picture this. It is Sunday evening, you're sitting at your desk, or maybe you're just sprawled out on your couch, and you are feeling an absolute surge of motivation.
Right, that classic Sunday night energy.
Exactly. You map out your upcoming week. You've got like the color-coded schedule looking completely pristine on your screen.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the 5 a.m. wake-up times locked in. You are going to exercise for an hour, learn a new language, meal prep these perfectly balanced lunches, and just completely transform your life.
You're basically an unstoppable force of nature.
In that specific moment, yes, you are. But then, well, Wednesday morning arrives.
Then reality hits.
Hard. The alarm goes off. It is pitch dark outside. You're deeply, deeply exhausted. And that beautiful, ambitious 7-color schedule suddenly feels like a Creole joke you played on yourself.
I mean, it is a profoundly familiar collapse, right? And it happens to almost everyone.
Yeah, totally.
That jarring tension between the Sunday night fantasy and the Wednesday morning reality, that's where most of our best intentions basically go to die.
So why does that happen? Like, why do our most impressive, meticulously crafted plans inevitably crash and burn by midweek?
Well, that's the big question.
Right. So today, we are going on a mission to decode the anatomy of a bulletproof daily routine. We are taking a massive stack of research covering language learning habits, time management strategies, workplace communication, and the deep psychology of goal setting.
It's a lot of material.
It is, yeah.
Mm.
But we're going to figure out how to optimize our daily habits. And most importantly, how to actually sustain them without burning out. So, okay, let's unpack this. Where exactly are we going wrong in those initial moments when we sit down to build these schedules?
So the failure begins before the week even starts, primarily because we fundamentally misunderstand who we are actually planning for.
What do you mean?
Well, we constantly build routines for the ideal version of ourselves. Think about your brain chemistry on a Sunday night, you know?
Okay, yeah.
That version of you is rested, fed, sitting in a comfortable environment, and experiencing this huge rush of dopamine just from imagining future success.
Right, you feel successful before you've even done anything.
Exactly. But you are designing a life for a person who simply doesn't exist on a rainy Tuesday evening after a grueling commute.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You are ignoring the realistic, tired, stressed, cognitively depleted version of yourself. And when you don't plan for that tired version, failure isn't just a possibility. It is structurally built into your week.
That makes so much sense when you look at the language learning examples we're diving into today.
Oh, the vocabulary one.
Yes. There's this one hyper-ambitious plan we reviewed where a person committed to learning 50 new vocabulary words every single day.
50 words. Every day.
50 words. The schedule had categories, it had arrows, it had little boxes to tick. You used 7 different highlighters. I mean, it was a masterpiece of organization.
And do you know how long this magnificent system lasted?
Exactly 4 days. By Thursday morning, it was completely abandoned.
Right, because that approach treats progress as a massive, exhausting event.
Yeah.
If we break down the psychology of what we could call the study event, it reveals exactly why we quit. Because we don't just sit down and learn, do we?
No, definitely not.
We create an elaborate pre-study routine. We feel the need to, like, clear the desk completely. We have to adjust the chair. We have to go to the kitchen for a glass of water.
We need to find the absolute perfect notebook and the exact right pen.
Yes. By the time 15 or 20 minutes have passed, our executive function, our brain's ability to make decisions and focus is already somewhat depleted from the preparation alone.
Wow.
We basically mistake the friction of preparation for actual productivity.
But wait, isn't ambition a good thing? I mean, if I don't aim high, if I don't set out to learn those 50 words or do that hour-long workout, I feel like I'm just settling, you know? We want to push ourselves.
Sure, ambition is essential for setting the destination, but it is a terrible fuel for the daily journey.
A terrible fuel.
Creating these massive daily hurdles it's like packing for a vacation and bringing high-performance gym clothes for every single day of the week, even though you literally never work out at home.
Oh, man. I've totally done that.
Right. You're packing for a fantasy. You're planning for a vacation version of yourself that is somehow an Olympic athlete.
Yeah, and then you just stare at the running shoes in the hotel room.
Exactly. When reality hits and you don't use those gym clothes, the discrepancy creates guilt. And guilt is the heaviest emotion to carry when you're trying to build momentum.
So what's the alternative then?
The fix for this is abandoning the massive event and embracing the concept of the tiny plan.
Right, the tiny plan. How does that change the dynamic?
Well, when people set a vague, massive goal like, I will improve my skills for an hour today, their brain doesn't actually know what to do with that information. It's too abstract.
It's just a big block of time.
Right. It lacks a clear entry point. A
Yeah.
tiny plan acts exactly like a GPS system.
Okay, I like this analogy.
If you don't put a specific address into a GPS, you just drive around aimlessly, wasting fuel and getting frustrated. But if you type in a small, exceptionally clear address like, I will read exactly one page of this specific book today, or I will conjugate 3 verbs, your brain knows exactly how to navigate there.
It just lowers the barrier to entry.
Drastically, it reduces the cognitive load of just getting started.
And what's brilliant is pairing that tiny plan with the distinction between a normal day routine and a tired day routine. This is such a paradigm shift.
It really is.
Because on a normal day, when you have average energy, your plan is to read 5 pages or practice your skill for 20 minutes.
Right.
But you explicitly define a tired day plan in advance, too.
Yeah.
So on a Wednesday, when you're just completely exhausted, your predefined plan is to read just one single page or do 5 minutes of stretching. And that's the entire commitment.
What's fascinating here is the psychological safety net that creates. The biggest enemy of any daily routine is the all-or-nothing mentality.
Oh, absolutely.
It's that deeply ingrained idea that if you can't execute the full 45-minute workout, doing 0 minutes is the only logical alternative.
Right. Like, well, I can't do an hour, so I guess I'll just sit on the couch.
Exactly. If you can't learn 50 words, you learn 0. The tired day routine prevents one bad day from destroying your self-image. Because habits are fundamentally about identity,
So even if it's small, it counts.
Yes. When you do your 1 minute of stretching, you preserve the identity of, I am someone who works out daily. You keep the momentum alive, and you avoid that guilt spiral.
But making a tiny plan only works if you actually have the time to execute it. Once you strip away that fantasy of the perfect 60-minute block of uninterrupted focus, you're left looking at a packed Wednesday schedule wondering, where do I actually fit this one page of reading in?
Well, that means we have to completely fundamentally restructure how we value time.
Okay.
We are conditioned to view time like large paper bills. If we don't have a whole crisp 60-minute bill in our wallet, we assume we are completely broke and can't afford to do anything.
Yeah, we think we need the whole hour.
But we need to introduce the concept of pocket time. Think of your day as being full of small coins. 5 minutes waiting for the bus. 7 minutes washing the dishes, 3 minutes standing in the kitchen waiting for your coffee to brew.
I think we all have a tendency to just throw those coins in the trash. We just let those minutes evaporate because we assume transition costs are too high.
Right.
We think, well, it's only 3 minutes. I can't get anything meaningful done.
Exactly. But if you collect those coins, they compound into something massive. If you listen to an educational audio clip for 10 minutes on your commute and read one page while boiling water for pasta, you are building your routine in the margins of your life.
You're using time that's already gone anyway.
You are utilizing time that is already passing, yes.
Think about that coffee lover from our research notes. This is a perfect example of how to spend that pocket time effectively.
Oh, that's a great example.
Yeah, they wanted to learn a new language, but they didn't force themselves to read dry, boring grammar textbooks during their pocket time because doing that requires way too much willpower.
It's just too much friction.
Right. Instead, they just naturally loved everything about coffee. So they spent their 3 or 4 minute pockets of time watching videos about coffee roasting, but in the language they were trying to learn.
And contextual learning is incredibly powerful because it bypasses the brain's resistance to boredom.
How so?
When your brain is engaged in a narrative or a topic it already intrinsically enjoys, it lowers its defensive friction. It stops treating the incoming information as a chore that needs to be forcefully memorized and starts treating it as a necessary tool to understand something fascinating.
So you aren't really studying, you're just watching a cool video.
Right. The language or the skill stops being the main event and the meaning takes over. They absorbed words like grind size and extraction naturally through repeated exposure.
But there is a massive glowing trap hiding in those little pockets of time. We all know what it is.
Yeah.
It's the smartphone. Have you ever had 10 minutes of pocket time? So you open your phone, maybe with the best of intentions. You tell yourself, I'm just going to look up one quick thing for my project. And then, well, the algorithm takes the wheel.
Because the algorithm always has stronger, more mathematically precise plans for your time than you do.
It really does. Have you ever opened YouTube intending to watch a quick, 10-minute educational pronunciation video, and 20 minutes later, you realize you are completely mesmerized, watching a video of a total stranger slowly restoring a badly damaged wooden chair.
It is the perfect illustration of what we call a time thief.
A time thief.
Yeah, a time thief isn't just a distraction. It is something that steals your pocket time by exploiting your cognitive fatigue without giving you anything of value in return.
So it preys on us being tired.
Exactly. When you sit down for a quick prac, your brain is experiencing task-switching fatigue. You are in a depleted state. The algorithms know this, so they serve you passive, highly engaging consumption.
And down the rabbit hole we go.
You fall down a rabbit hole, and you emerge 45 minutes later feeling exhausted, slightly guilty, and having made zero progress on your actual goals.
So how do we realistically defend our pocket time against the chair restoration videos of the world? I mean, it feels like fighting a supercomputer with our bare hands.
You defend it by being strictly, almost ruthlessly intentional in the physical world. You have to decide exactly what you are going to do before you unlock the screen.
Before you even unlock it.
Never open an app to see what it wants to show you. You state your intention aloud, or in your head, I am unlocking this phone exclusively to watch this specific 10-minute video, or I'm opening this app to read exactly 3 pages.
It takes some discipline.
It does, but you make the decision in the physical world where you still have agency, so you aren't vulnerable to the algorithm's suggestions once you enter the digital world.
Okay, so you've mastered your own phone, you've got your tiny plans, and you are collecting your pocket time coins. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Let's hear it.
What happens when you clock into work? Because you can have the tightest, most disciplined personal routine in the world, but the second you step into the office or log on to your company's digital workspace, other people's chaos threatens to completely derail your day.
Workplace communication is precisely where perfectly good personal routines go to die.
Oh, absolutely.
What's crucial to understand is that so much of our lost time at work isn't due to the actual tasks being inherently difficult. No, it's due to the massive friction of poor, ambiguous communication. Think about the absolute panic of version control we constantly see, dealing with a file named report final, which then becomes report final final, and eventually report final improved actual version 3.
We have all lived through the endless variations of final. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And we constantly sabotage our own work routines because we desperately want to sound helpful or confident to our peers.
That's a huge part of it.
Like someone sends a message asking, how's the project coming? And instead of giving a realistic, factual answer, we instinctively say, almost done, when we are literally only halfway through.
Right.
Or a manager says, I need this by Friday, and we just fire back yes, without clarifying if they mean Friday at 8:30 in the morning or Friday at 5, 9 in the afternoon. We absorb other people's vague requests and instantly transform them into our own personal emergencies.
And we do that because we misunderstand what leadership and responsibility in a daily routine actually look like.
How so?
Good communication at work, which is how you manage your own routine effectively, isn't about being bossy, demanding, or inflexible. It is simply about being impeccably clear.
Clear. Just clear.
When you say almost done to sound capable, you aren't actually helping. You are destroying your team's ability to accurately plan. Clarity is kindness. If a task is going to take 90 minutes of focused work, you say it will take 90 minutes. Not soon, not in a bit.
There are some incredible, highly specific phrases you can use to defend your time and your routine without sounding like a jerk.
Yeah, boundaries are important.
Instead of just drowning in a flood of incoming tasks, you proactively say, I'm at capacity right now, but I can pick this up tomorrow morning. Or, if you need to protect your deep focus time, you delegate by asking, would you be able to take the lead on this section?
Exactly.
It's not aggressive. It's just establishing a professional boundary that protects your schedule.
And setting that boundary prevents the dreaded duplication of effort, which is a massive drain on collective routines.
Oh, yeah.
Consider a scenario that plays out in almost every modern chat-based workplace. Someone drops a vague, open-ended request into a channel with 10 people. Can someone pull the data for this?
And then silence.
Several people see it. Nobody replies in the thread because of the digital bystander effect.
Right.
So 3 different people, wanting to be helpful, all quietly open their software and start running the exact same numbers. An hour later, 3 identical spreadsheets are presented.
All that wasted time just because nobody took 3 seconds to reply, I've got this.
Exactly. Fast isn't always efficient. You can execute the wrong task very quickly, or three people can execute the right task very quickly, which is still a massive, avoidable waste of collective time.
Wow. So defending your personal routine at work ultimately means refusing to participate in vague communication.
Pretty much, yes.
All right, so we've protected our pocket time from our phones and algorithms. We've protected our work schedule from vague coworkers and chaotic chat rooms. But how do we protect the ultimate long-term goals of our routine from, well, ourselves? Specifically from our own mouths.
This brings us to the psychology of goal setting, which is perhaps the most counterintuitive, uncomfortable part of building a resilient routine.
Okay, I'm ready.
The golden rule we have to confront is this: never share your plans before you execute them.
Which sounds so antisocial.
It does.
When we have a new goal, like a new fitness regimen we're excited about, a novel we want to write, a side business we want to start, our absolute first instinct is to announce it. We want to post about it, text our friends, tell our family. We want the world to know we're making a change.
Of course we do. Humans are deeply wired for tribal connection, and the dream of a new goal is most perfect right before it meets the friction of reality.
Yeah, when it's still pure potential.
But there is a well-documented psychological trap here known as the substitution phenomenon. Let's look at the dopamine mechanics of this.
Yeah.
When you announce a massive goal to the world, your friends cheer, people leave supportive comments, they congratulate you on your ambition, your brain gets a massive hit of dopamine from that social reward.
It's a literal chemical reaction happening in real time.
Precisely. Your brain cannot distinguish between the social validation of talking about the goal and the intrinsic reward of actually achieving the goal.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
It can't tell the difference.
It literally registers the validation of success. Even though you haven't done a single minute of the actual difficult work, you are getting the reward up front.
That's dangerous.
And because you've already received the psychological payoff, your motivation to wake up early and execute the boring, unglamorous daily routine suddenly plummets. Your brain feels like it already crossed the finish line.
Think about someone deciding they're going to write a novel. They tell their entire family at dinner. They announce it to all their followers online. They spend a week making an elaborate, highly aesthetic digital mood board to capture the vibe of the characters.
Oh, I've seen that.
That's right. They spend all this energy living in the social identity of being a novelist. And the result? They write exactly 3 paragraphs in 4 months. The announcement itself became the achievement.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, keeping quiet is about protecting the fragile, nascent energy of a new habit.
Okay.
Imagine your new goal, your new tiny daily routine, is a very small campfire you've just barely managed to spark in the woods.
I love this imagery.
It is incredibly vulnerable. It needs protection. It needs careful tending. If you immediately invite a huge crowd of people over to look at your tiny fire, what happens?
Chaos. People trampling all over the campsite.
Yes. Some people mean incredibly well, but they bring unsolicited opinions. They tell you how you should actually be building the fire or what kind of wood you should be using, which is the psychological equivalent of throwing wet logs onto a tiny spark.
It's so true.
Other people are skeptics, asking if you really think you have the discipline to keep it burning through the winter, which is like blowing the flame sideways. The crowd uses up all the oxygen before the fire has a chance to catch and sustain itself.
Okay, I have to jump in here, though. Because, wait, if I don't tell anyone about my goals, aren't I just hiding? Don't we need people to hold us accountable so we don't just quietly quit our routines when nobody is watching?
I get that a lot.
Like, if I don't tell anyone I'm going to the gym at 6 a.m., it is incredibly easy to just hit snooze and pretend I never set the goal in the first place.
That is the crucial distinction you have to make. There is a massive fundamental difference between accountability and validation.
Okay, what's the difference?
Posting day 1 of my fitness journey to the internet, hoping for likes and comments from hundreds of acquaintances, is seeking validation. You are asking for cheap applause from a crowd that has absolutely no skin in the game and no stake in your long-term success.
Right, they'll double tap the picture while they're scrolling and forget about your goal 3 seconds later.
Exactly. That is validation, and it drains your motivation. True accountability, on the other hand, is texting one single trusted friend who is also trying to build a difficult habit and knowing they will actually follow up with you on Tuesday morning to ask if you did the work.
So it's about deep selectivity. You aren't keeping secrets because you're paranoid or afraid of failure. You're just purposely not giving your early, fragile plans to the wrong crowd too soon.
Correct. The ultimate test of your silence is very simple. Is your silence protecting your action, or is it replacing your actions?
Ooh, that's a good test.
If you aren't telling anyone, but you are quietly putting in the reps every single day, your silence is protecting the dream. But if you aren't telling anyone and you aren't doing the work either, then it's not a protective strategy, it's just fear with better branding.
Fear with better branding. That is incredibly sharp and such a perfect mirror to hold up to our own habits.
It's something to think about, for sure.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? The ultimate bulletproof daily routine doesn't require a miserable 5:00 a.m. wake-up call.
Thank goodness.
It doesn't require a flawless, stress-inducing 10-step plan that completely falls apart the second you spill your coffee on a Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
It's so much simpler and so much more resilient than that.
Very true.
It is about building tiny plans, having a realistic normal day routine, and an intentionally scaled down tired day routine so you never break the chain and damage your self-identity. It's about spending your pocket time wisely and fiercely defending your physical environment against the algorithm's time thieves. It's about setting crystal clear communication boundaries at work so you aren't drowning in other people's chaos. And perhaps most importantly, it's about protecting the tiny campfire of your goals by keeping your mouth shut, finding true, isolated accountability, and just doing the work quietly.
And this raises an important question to leave you with, building directly on that psychology of silence.
Yeah.
If our brains are so easily tricked into giving us a false sense of achievement just for talking about our goals before we start, what would happen if we applied that exact same neurological trick in reverse?
Oh, wow. Okay.
What if you achieved a major milestone in your routine, you hit a huge, ambitious goal, and you purposefully decided not to tell a single soul about it for a whole month?
That would be so hard.
Would you discover that the quiet, intrinsic satisfaction of doing the work is enough to sustain you? Or would you realize you are only ever doing the work for the applause?
That is a deeply fascinating challenge. Take that thought and take your new realistic routine for a spin today. Stop planning for the Olympic athlete version of yourself and start building a routine that the tired Wednesday morning version of you can actually accomplish. Thank you so much for diving deep with us.